Okay, hello everyone. I'm just gonna watch the video real quick and give you a video response.
Recent polls have shown a fifth of Americans can't locate the U.S. on a world map. Why do you think this is? I personally believe that U.S. Americans are unable to do so because some people out there in our nation don't have maps, and I believe that our education, like such as in South Africa and the Iraq, everywhere like such as, and I believe that they should, our education over here in the U.S. should help the U.S. or should help South Africa. It should help the Iraq and the Asian countries, so we will be able to build up our future for.
Thank you very much, South Carolina.
Interesting. Just tripping over words, but so my worst public speaking experience, I'd probably have to say when I was in 7th grade, which was well over a decade and a half ago. But we were doing these presentations, and it was every week we had to do a presentation. And one we read a story, one we made something in front of the class, and it was just teaching us about public speaking in 7th grade where I went to school at. And I guess the worst one I had to do was actually reading in front of the class. And I read this book, and I really was bad at it. I didn't do it, never done it before. I mean, even though it was in front of people I knew, it kind of made it harder because I felt like they were critiquing me more. I felt it would have been easier in front of people I don't know. But I mean, the teacher was, very strict in his grading too, so that kind of put a lot of pressure on me, which kind of made the presentation feel like uneasy for me. But overall, I wouldn't think it was a bad presentation. It was just very awkward first time, which I guess, I felt like I did great, and my grade wasn't too bad, but I definitely felt some shakiness in my voice. But it was my first time. But as the weeks progressed, I did get considerably better. And so an attention getting technique I would want to use, I wrote some down. I actually do like to ask a question. I've done that before in other classes where we've had to give group presentations or presentations by ourselves, and I always like to just ask a question. I feel like it engages everyone in the audience, and it's not going to alienate them, if I was to quote somebody famous, or some people might not know them, and my joke and humor might not go over too well with everybody, but you can usually ask a pretty relatable question, and it really engages the whole audience in their thinking and kind of gets them focused on your presentation. So that's what I would really prefer to do, is ask a question, engage the audience, and go from there. And some tips to increase my effectiveness as a speaker, I guess, obviously practice. My conclusion and my opening statement, that would be the best, because those are the most impactful moments when you're giving a presentation, is you really want to get their attention at the end. You want to really leave them with something to take away. So I probably would practice that a lot more. And I think a lectern would help me a lot, because sometimes I don't know what to do with my hands, or like I just keep doing the same thing, or just do this, or they're just in front of me. So I think a lectern to rest on would be nice. Keep your posture up, and you can engage your audience a little bit more. That would help me just have more confidence in myself, just having something there to just kind of lean on and rest on, and just keep your posture upright and keep your hands from moving around more than you want them to. And I also like the introduction about yourself. I think that would be great, because most classes everyone knows you for the most part, or a couple people know you. So I think like an introduction before you speak, before I would speak, before anyone would speak, if the audience knows you, or a good portion of them know you, I think it would be a great idea to have an introduction for yourself, to be able to engage the audience before you go out and engage them in any other way that you are comfortable with. So, looking at the lecture slides, 3 to 7, I guess any mistakes, like just looking at that picture, I mean, obviously it's not centered on the screen. Just the posture in general, I guess, of the student just leaning on the laptop. Could have had like a clicker. Could have had all that out of the way as well. And yeah, most of it just seems like, I mean, they're dressed pretty well. They could have just matched. They look like they're already matching, so they could have matched better. The other one could have just wore a tie because they're already matching basically. But yeah, besides, the matching, maybe the posture at the computer, maybe just stand upright if that's how you're going to present it, but try to move that off to the side and maybe have a student click for you. A lot of us do that when we do presentations, and yeah, everything on the screen isn't centered. That's kind of interesting, and that whiteboard behind the screen is kind of off center, so maybe they should have just left it on the wall. But those are the mistakes I see. It just boils down to posture. And I guess the next slide, 5, I don't know if that's one that we're supposed to critique, but I mean, obviously it just comes down to posture for that one for me. But yeah, but yeah, that's basically it. Thank you.